Further on those? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Make a motion that we accept the non-public meeting 1, 2, and 3 from July 17.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda.
I'll make that motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second, anything further, Michael?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public input.
Yep.
Yep.
Jeff, I want to come over and start taking my
Is he on the agenda anyway? There's a microphone up here, Jeff.
All right. You sit next to me, Mr. Sabine. How you doing tonight? Good to see you. All right.
Aye.
I have some questions about the paperwork that I received. Saying that I'm running a legal graphic business. And I guess there was some paperwork or something, somebody turned in something, but that petition possibly that.
There's a petition.
Yeah. Mike Jasmine told me that he saw there was something, and then whoever dropped it off took it with him, and I can't get a copy of it. And everybody he's talked to about this is seeking. I can't know anything about anything that anyone said. And I went and saw him maybe a week ago. And the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, God, I was just gonna call you," but she never called me, so probably wasn't. And I asked him some questions about this, and in this, one of the things in here, it says, truck traffic continues, I guess there's people complaining about the truck. And he says, the truck traffic continues to be frequent and fast, I have taken the time to witness it for myself, per their request. So I asked him, I said, "What did you say?" And he said, what he said to me was, "That Jay Roy, you gotta slow down." And I said, "Jay Roy, who's building 2 houses up past me, nothing to do with me." You know, I said, so that's what you witnessed, Jay Roy maybe going fast. So I think people are blaming me for stuff that I'm not doing. So it's a little frustrating. And last year, I was approached by a former company about some fill over by the Wilson Lawn Garden. They asked me if I would be interested in fill. I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And we kind of talked about the town. They said they were gonna talk to the town and see if it was okay. And they got back to me and said the town said it was okay. So then they made demands about how I had to, not really demands, but I had to upgrade my driveway to handle the trucks, which was about $10,000 worth of work.
Form up made that?
Now,
No, but Form up said you had to upgrade the
yes,
trucks. Okay.
for it to happen, I had to do it. Then I had to sign a contract with them saying that any up to 180,000 yards, which I wasn't gonna pay that much, we kind of talked about that. I had to pay them for every yard that I didn't take, so basically I would owe them 180,000. Up to $180,000 if I couldn't take it. So this started about Christmas or, you know, in that area. So I got hurt for maybe a week, maybe a little bit more, and then the guy that runs Form Up called me and said that he got some complaint from the code enforcement saying about the trucks and that I can't really be taking this stuff, and I thought it was approved. So he, somehow he made it so they wouldn't bring me any more fill, but they were bringing it to other people. So trucks kept going to someone else for weeks. People were thinking it's me, I'm assuming. So I think that's how this all started, but I got stuck for like a week with town permission,
Yeah.
what I was told. So now, like I said, actually Mike texted me last night, wanted me to call him, so I talked to him last night. And he said, I have to go for, I told him, I don't want to grab a business, don't really want to do that. And he said, well, I have to get permission to park my truck on my property or any equipment. So that's where we're at. So it's just strange that everything's a big mystery. I mean, is that how it works? People come, you know, people turn in paperwork and it's private, no one knows anything about it. It disappears.
No, I personally don't know anything about the petition. You
That's
know,
what I was.
like he said, that whoever it was had a piece of paper and took it with them, but
Yeah.
I guess
That's
we'll
what I
look
was told.
but you're not hauling out of there. So it's not like it's a gravel pit, you're just bringing in fill?
Which I've been doing since 2005.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's 3 lots there. There's, you know, so it's, you know what I mean, and the town, Jasmine has told me before, you know, run stuff in is fine, which I don't know if that's fine now, to do that, and I know. But don't sell stuff back, so that's what I've been doing, you know what I mean? So just, and I think they're blaming, there's 4 houses that just went in on that road. 4 little houses.
Up above you.
Yeah, 4, 1 at the end, 2 for Tom Maynard's property, he sold 2 lots, and then that Austin there, got now a nice back.
Yeah.
He wanna got ton of that fill too, he got a ton of it after he shut me, and they didn't bring me 1 load after this all happened. So it just, I guess I'm concerned about
I guess we'll look into it.
Okay.
So. Thank you.
So before you leave, the argument you're having is that there's paperwork that you haven't seen and you
Yeah.
have to see.
it.
And you're claiming that it isn't you going up and down the road with your truck,
Yeah.
so these are the things you wanted to look at.
Yeah.
How many trucks do you have?
Come on,
Jay Roy's been going up and down the hill a lot. Jay Roy's cars full of speed. We've been doing a lot of work up there, the line project, and if you look, people just speeding up there, the cars.
Yeah.
Back and forth like
right,
that.
so I think people see big trucks and they think they're speeding, just because they.
Jay Roy's, I never.
I know I rode the speed on with a big truck, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's it.
I don't think you can accuse him of anything either. I like him. Sure, I'm not doing business with him. He did 2 houses up there, they trucked out all the stumps, you know, there's a lot of traffic, 4 houses. So, it's just, you know, I've been doing the same thing since '05, you know what I mean, I know what I can do and I know what I can't do, you know, I'm not perfect, right? But, it's just some funny things, and everybody that he talks to about this, it's private. I didn't know that's how it worked. You know, every conversation he's had, all paperwork he's read, that he has or does not have, I don't know what he got. It's a secret. So that's my concern.
We'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Huh?
Aren't you grandfathered by now?
I don't have any kid ones. Well, that gravel.
Maybe you shouldn't widen the road, make it nice. So,
I told Nick Sanch, he was happy about it.
Oh, Pat did a great job up there, too.
Happy about the dust, but I said, let's make it once. Way to get paid.
It looks great.
Joe did an unbelievable
He
job.
did a great job.
I'm
It looks like a different road up there.
sure does.
Yeah.
any other public input? Seeing none, we'll move on to, oh, Mike.
We talked about what we call, you want me to talk about that?
Sure, if you'd like.
Coming up shortly.
Yeah, like either now or you can, it's next on the agenda, or one almost next on the agenda, so. Either way.
Make it next if you want.
Next on the agenda, I'll wait.
You want to punt on the other until Bill gets back?
Sure.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
Old business, we'll go to Whitcomb Hall exterior painting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, you want to speak to it?
Let's.
Um, 2 weeks ago, when I was here, we talked about the painting. We talked about the doors, we talked about the back of the building. And I said that I was going to get together with the committee and see what we think about some of these things. And we had our professional painter suggested the amount of $60,000 is way out of line, and that probably $16,000 would be an appropriate figure for repainting the building and doing the necessary, whatever they have to do. And then I talked with Kenny about the door that has some cracks in the 3 panels. And Kenny did come down and look at them, and he said, I can fix them. I've got to think about how I want to do it. He said, I'd like to be able to build the doors on, and he said, but I can fix the 3 panels that are cracked and make it right. That's a preview. To replace those doors, it was supposed to $10,000.
But if you're looking at the heritage, what we get from the grant from the grant? We got a grant from the grant we got from the state, and they were talking about the doors and stuff. And we had to check with them anytime.
I think Pete Johnson was the one that was looking to change the doors.
And then you were.
We were just looking to fix the cracks to save on the heating in the winter time. And like, when it gets cold and dry, those cracks expand. And, it's been difficult to keep this place warm when it gets really cold. And then the cost of fuel, so we can fix those cracks, that's great. Good. And, he said he would do that. So we talked about the painting, the cracks. And then,
Carriage house.
The eaves, aren't the eaves gonna be part of that project too, and it's coming down in place there?
and when we talked about that, Scott, we're thinking that if you paint the place, it'll give us a chance to go up there, and if this need repair, that, we would repair them.
If they have a lift in there.
We have, town has a bucket truck. We're going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have a bucket truck, should reach that.
There's a reason for it, but maybe with that.
37 feet, 37 feet.
That's not. Talk about the handle wood on that block, the last time I repaired this side here, because the fire department had the ladder truck. That's.
We did a lot of, but the bucket truck is.
Yeah, and that should just be nailed right back up again. It's the failure on the nail. Rolling up and down. Cut down.
That's, yeah.
The birthday, and there's a window open upstairs, so it's down. We could do that.
We could do that. The last thing that we were talking about was the back of the barn. Now we've got the clapboards left over from when we worked on the barn, in the barn already. And we could button, the barn back up, fix the necessary clapboards, and make sure that it's tight and it's waterproof and what have you. I guess we're still talking about painting part of it. The clapboards are old, the barn is stuff 100 years old, and I don't think they clapped out. The clapboard it right off, so I did the clapboards from 150, what you say, or.
Maybe not that long, but probably 100 years in. Probably, because I think that was.
And so, so that leaves lead paint on the remaining part of the building that we're, we would replace, as I said, the bottom part is in bubble. The top part, is tight, it's perfectly good like it was 100 years ago. So we're really, objective to putting in a line of sight on that. I think we need to fix it a little more original if we can. Heading Karen and try, I'd like to see.
Yeah, we have the original platforms that came off the building, like you were saying, right there. So the only real thing is about the paint. It's really going to paint back there, if it's going to be an issue or be a problem or whatever, because it does have to be protected by paint or siding.
You replace the siding back there, we can paint the paint in that portion, but the guys, so that paint certified.
Oh, if we repair the clapboards, right up.
Yeah. One of the board members had recommended the vinyl siding just because the back wall doesn't get any exposure, thinking of the longevity of the Bill Howalker had suggested that, but no, I have a guy on staff that's lead paint certified.
Oh, we can do that and get your bucket truck to get some links to go there. That'd be great. So it's cedar clapboards on there, they're probably white cedar, no plant long.
Sharon, she told me it's paint. Did you need more paint for that? I don't know if there's I'd have to talk to the foreman. I don't know if there's any paint left or not. That's all right. If you can paint it, then I'll pitch on them and see if she's, she can donate, really, she's,
So you're talking about that green color or the white color?
like, I'm like about what. The west side, I believe, is white,
It is.
and the back would be white.
How about they went with the cement siding boards on it?
It was a cost thing. The Cheshire Builders, they had it. And they offered it to us at a reduced rate because it had to be replaced anyways to be fixed. So that's what we went with. That's why they said that cement siding wasn't ready.
So you didn't want to clapboard that side.
That backside didn't need it.
Okay.
Just when we were fixing the front there, yeah. And it was- that's what-
So Mike, did I hear you right? You have a price of 16,000 to paint the building?
He was hoping, right?
She estimated that should be the figure that you should accept or would be acceptable.
Well, we need somebody to actually bid that.
What's that?
We need somebody to bid that.
More.
She was reluctant to bid.
She did say about that, but, I think she thought that somebody put that bid in. And I'll double check.
Nobody put a bid in for 16,000. There was a bid for 50 some odd thousand, 35,000. And then we reached out to Bing for painting because they did the library. If Mike Brantley witnessed that painting, the library did a really good job over at the library next to town hall. And we had to take a look at this and provide a quote. There's a quote, but that's 28,000. And that's not the back building, just the main building.
But that wasn't exactly the same way.
No, it was.
Yeah, it was one coat, one swap line, and one coat paint.
In the library, for example, the library was 26,000 change to pay.
She did say that. It would be smart to take, pressure wash the building. To get the dirt off every year, then it would last longer. And, you know, I don't know what it would cost to pressure wash the building every year, but. I think that's cheap either, so.
No, especially needing a lift and all.
Yeah, but, no, I think the last time that, before we did the big scraping, with Smith. That it had to be a good 15 years before anybody touched it. So, and it wasn't that they didn't pressure wash it and paint it, they did. But it was just, it wasn't the right kind of job.
I'll hold off and see if we get that bid.
Yeah, because see, to me, in my opinion, is the back of that building is more important right now to fix and paint. Mike seems, and it seems like they have a good plan to save money than painting this. I think this would hold back.
Yeah.
And we wait until we get a good price and we concentrate on that back building because it's falling. It's only gonna get worse, am I right? I mean, the bullets keep falling down.
Yeah, we never touched the backside of that building.
Yeah, and the guy that's a property owner next to it, is pretty upset that was left like that. The fence was ripped
I
down.
was mainly upset about the fence, I think,
Yeah.
but he did point out, and it never.
And it never got painted.
Yeah.
But don't you feel that this is in better shape than that? And then if we're gonna put money into it, we should probably do that back wall.
Probably so, yeah, and this needs spot scraping.
Yeah,
Right, layer the has scraped off in the original painting.
Right, and you guys fixing the soffit, I think that's a great plan.
Yeah, soft should be fixed.
I think it's a good idea.
What happened back was there was a lot of trees. And it was blowing up against the building. And I think we thought the trees belonged to the neighbor. And so that becomes a problem if they got trees there that they don't want to cut.
Correct.
And they did
The mildew, no sun to dry the wall and all that.
they did give us permission to cut the trees to save the back of the building
Makes sense.
and maintain it. So that was part of it all.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna jump ahead to the appointment so we can get some people out of here.
We don't need to show up, but
Joe DeRusso,
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
road grader, backhoe, and lawnmower.
Yeah, so as the board is aware, I've been searching for, we were slated this year to buy a used grader. Been searching high and low to no avail. New grader graded anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000, so I didn't pursue that. But in talking with one of the municipal dealer from Caterpillar, he offered to give me a price on a new one, kind of many prices at the time, he didn't have the kind of money. And long story short, Caterpillar offers municipality basically 50% off what a contract is paying for it. So spec'd out a grader that, similar to ours, but obviously much more modern. And the price came in basically better than what I've seen some used ones for. So they're the downside of the grader, you wouldn't be able to get the grader this year, did have to order it. So we were slated to buy a backhoe next year and the grader this year. I'm suggesting a very talk, speak a little about that, swapping them, can you buy the backhoe, taking ours to trade this year. And then we can order a grader for next year without any money at this point. We just got to sign a purchase and sales agreement. So I'm suggesting to do that, to swap those around. There are two options with the grader. When it comes to the controls, there's a standard what's called a rack mount, and there are basically a bunch of controls that control the blade. A cat dealer pointed out to us, Jimmy and I to provide out to look at a grader in Vermont that is the exact same one we could get it. He pointed out to us that they make joystick controls now, which is similar to an excavator. He suggested that we should really take a look at that. Unfortunately, it's approximately $21,000 for it. I have read the exact figures, but he pointed out that first and foremost, one of the things is safety and the visibility. It's not the day compared to all the handles in front of you. But then he brought in a good point, and he said the trainability when you operate was. He said pick the 20th car that drives by you, pull over, not grading, but running the machine. It takes years to get good on a grader, but running the machine and functioning. Talked about resale, which really wouldn't apply to us. A grader lasts 25 or 30 years. Well taken care of. So those are the options. They've taken our grader and trade, which our grader is not worth a lot more, and taking our backhoe and trade. They could have a backhoe to us within like 3 weeks. So it would be a matter of swapping those CIP purchases, buying a backhoe this year, buying a grader.
I tell you, what I witnessed was incredible about the difference in these two machines. And we were originally just going to look at the lever, and as we sat there and I got in it, you got a picture of all the levers are up here like this, and there's got to be 10 on each side, right? So your arms are up like this, you got a steering wheel. And I said to the guy, why do they even make these? And he said, it's for the old timers. This is old school stuff. And he says, and to operate this all day and have your arms and your neck and all this, he said, it's incredibly different than you sitting back in the chair, put your arms on the rest, grabbing two sticks, no steering wheel. And one does the forward and back, one does all the controls. And he says, I can teach a guy in so many hours to actually move this down the road. You take the old school one, it takes you 3 to 4 weeks. Now, picture all those bars going down, like Joe said, you got your windows right here, right? So when you're operating, you kind of look and you can see the dirt coming off. With the old one, you can't, you have to reach, you gotta constantly. So they did a test, they put a camera behind the driver. And the guy's head was blocking the camera every second because he's constantly seeing what's happening. Versus the joysticks, you can just sit there and look down through the windows because there's nothing there.
Correct. There's a picture of the first visibility versus. And the reason why is all the valve controls, they changed the contours of the cab.
Yeah, and they even said the knobs that are on the top, they show you what each knob does, right? Each handle, they have to change the knobs out with people just because the operator still forgets because there's so many handles, so we need to order knobs. The directions, to me, you know, for this deep, and the amount of savings is incredible. You think about, he was looking at them, he showed me 260 for used. So we thought, no way. And the municipality discount was brought us to a brand new one. And then he talked about cap, which was another whole thing about, he made sense. He said, you drive down the highway, and you look at all the equipment, it's all cap. There's a reason it's cap, because it holds its own. So for this amount of money, I think it's, we come back to is, you know, because once we get this graded, we're good for 20, 25 years. We put it to bed, it's over, you know, we're not dealing with used. So I think it's a no-brainer on getting that machine if we're gonna spend that kind of money, though. The knowledge of, and parts, what about parts, he said?
Yeah, Cat, I've known them back from 30 years ago when I rented my equipment. Caterpillar stock, majority of parts is second in nothing. They have a 95% success rate of community part out of the queue for the next day. And it's something like 91% if you walk in one of their shops, they have stock.
Right, you call up, you say I'm broke down, you give your number, they take it, in 1 hour, they call you back, they got the solution, they got the part on the way, guaranteed. And Joe was explaining one job he did, he lost the part, and he waited 3 weeks for the part, right, Joe, and he had the job down.
Years ago, we had a $400,000 excavator that sat like 3 homes for a $35 car.
I just think it's a good investment for the town of Swansea, and then it's something that we'll never bring up again. It's over, and it's got a big warranty, right, with it, Joe?
Yeah, both the backhoe and the grader come with a 7-year, 2,500 hour warranty. We will go over 25 hours and then 2,500 hours in the 7 years.
And that's front to back.
So Steve, did you discuss it?
I just, yes, Steve just actually sent an email saying we discussed it and he supports it. Like I said, these purchases were already approved by CIP to bring to the board. We're just making the swap and part of my goals is possible. The reason why we're making the swaps is the against the waiver issue. And the back will come back to that.
Yes, we're looking for a motion on the backhoe.
I'll make that. Sorry.
All right, motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $142,000 to purchase a backhoe from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye, the ayes have it. Lawn mowers,
You do the grader as well, so we can get a purchase and sale agreement on.
we don't have a motion on that, do we?
It's execution of the purchase and sale agreement, as long as it's contingent on kind of an appropriation clause. Just to make sure, understanding that we get the funding next year. So we'd be looking for a motion.
One question on that, will you have the funding for it next year, or will it sit back? Will it be, won't be in the, they'll have to be voted on town meeting for next year?
Correct, so it would be contingent on the article passing next year.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking for a motion to authorize a purchase and sale agreement for the road grader for 260. 262 for a road grader, subject to town meeting. 262
That's next year.
road grader.
So condition is passed by the public.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $262,000 to purchase a road grader from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund, subject to town meetings 2025. Yep. All in favor, say aye.
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 The folks are 62. Be less than that because you're the overage initiative.
Right.
We only approved you approved the lower number on the other one, so now you have to do the higher number on.
I understand.
Yeah.
But those are going to town meeting.
Oh, correct, it will not be,
Let the
yeah, it will
leftover
not
money
be,
back.
yeah, right, I think it's 200.
Right.
Lawnmowers,
Lawnmower, yes, the lawnmower is not planned, we just had a major breakdown on one of the newer lawnmowers, not newer, but it's almost 4 years old, but it's only got 700 hours on it. And hydro drive, like, hydro drives, they have a special type of hydro drive on the lawnmower. And the quote I had, probably just over $5,000 to replace the hydros on new mowers around 10, 9, 11. Got a second opinion, and second opinion verified that they're special hydro units. It's only warranty for 500 hours, but it's extremely abnormal for them to go at 700 hours. Talk to numerous landscapers who are getting up to 3,000 hours on it. The crew, the crew tell me that this mower used from day one and used oil on a regular basis. And good conscience, I can't recommend replacing the hydros on it. And then having something else fail with it, put that kind of money. It is essentially, you need 3 mowers. They frequently use all 3, so now we're down to 2.
And you have a SCAG already.
We just recently switched over. The last mower we purchased was a Skag. Crew raves about the quality of the cut is much better. It's come recommended Keen and from some landscapers that Angel spoke to.
So were you afraid that if we put the $5,000 into it, something else may should go wrong?
Yes,
We're
that might be-
putting good money on bad money, is that what you're
With a
saying?
mower that's almost 4 years old,
And then with the
crew telling me that it's the mower use oils that they want, which is not normal.
Okay, I'll make the motion. Everybody, any more?
Second.
Right, motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $11,400 to purchase a lawnmower from the Highway and Cemetery Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Ayes. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Welch, here before he leaves, if you haven't been down Pine Street, go down and take a look, because they've been moving some material at the property that we purchased last year. And it's stark difference, gonna come out really nice. So
Yeah, last couple of days, we're working with the contractor, what services, regrading, shading the lot, as we discussed, can result in not having by road sand for many, there's more sand there than anticipated. Especially in the future, if we're gonna look at either put an addition on DPW or put a second building there. It's all really good material. In place, all the stumps are gone and looking a lot better.
So we still have to process this material.
Yeah, screening and take very, very little to get the stones. Can't put out too much stones, hard, get them off the greater windows and such.
Is that what you do every year before the winter comes? You make a
Yeah,
pile?
you make a bunch 1 year last year. We usually purchase it, we're at $15,000 worth of road sand every day.
That's what we buy every year. We're looking at maybe 5, 6, 10 years.
Oh, I say at least 10, that much.
That's good.
And then if we level a lot more in the future, it's gonna be,
Well, understood.
Good. Thank you.
thank you.
Moving on, Human Resources Coordinator, Sebastian Villicree.
Bill.
Okay. Just say it like I said, and say it fast.
First of all, thank you for having me here. I met all of you individually, but as a formal introduction, my name is Sebastian Bellicrate. I am your Human Resources Coordinator, brand new to the town of Swanzey. When I just started about 3 months ago, I had a lot to learn, a lot of members to meet. And when I first introduced myself to the organization, I wanted to really get to know the employees, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As part of meeting the organization, I conducted what is known as a stay interview. That's similar to an exit interview where you ask a standardized set of questions to the employees to get their idea on what's working, what's not working, what we could do better. I met with all full-time employees at the town hall, including both the town clerks. The part of this, the objective of these questions is really to identify from the employees themselves what we could do better as an employer, what's working and what is something that we can work on. All the questions and the answers will remain anonymous, and that was disclosed to the employees just so they could answer truthfully and they don't have to fear any repercussions. So from this 10 questions, I identified a couple of trends The first question that we asked was, what are your long-term professional plans? I'm happy to say that 90% of the employees did mention that their long-term plan is to stay in the town of Swansea as their employer. The second question that I asked is, do you have any work-life balance in the town of Swansea? This was a great response from the team, as we got 70% responded with positive, yes, they have work-life balance in the town of Swansea. This is great numbers, especially as the US benchmark is about 60%. Definitely some room for us to improve upon, but definitely some good numbers to begin with. The third question was, what do you like most about your job? You know, just given the nature of the job that's done in the town, some of the answers might be obvious, but 70% of employees claim that they enjoy having that impact in their community. Another great answer that most of the employees gave, about 70% of the employees mentioned that they do like leadership, meaning the selectman and Mike, the town administrator, in the sense that they feel like they are accessible. Especially given the layers of their organization, as being a municipality, it's great to see that employees feel like they could come to you for questions and answers. This is where we could have the most impact. One of the questions is, if you could change one aspect of your job, what would it be? And given that this is an open-ended question, not really suggesting towards anything, I was surprised to see that most people answer about the same. 80% of employees reported that our varied schedule, especially ending late on Monday, was one of their biggest problems they had with their schedule. I mean, especially when it came down to planning their week, childcare issues, or taking care of a sick or relative. So that's something that we could definitely work on. And part of me presenting this data is to ask you if I'm willing to work with the town employees as well as the town clerk, would you guys be open to revise the hours for the town office?
You will expand on.
Yes, so they're looking to have a more standardized schedule without as much flux. I did not get a lot of bad answers regarding Monday starting early, but I got a lot of pushback from Monday ending late. At 6 p.m., I believe most employees come in at 8:30 and leave at 9:30 and leave at 6, and many of them conflict with their childcare issues or taking care of a relative. So about 80% of them did mention that was something they wanted to be looked at.
So you're saying, Sebastian, that they would like to see you come in early and leave early?
Yeah, primarily.
And Mondays is the only day that we do stay that late?
That's right, that's right. And, you know, I know we understand that we have responsibility to the public, but they also feel as they actually miss more on people coming in the morning. They have people waiting in the morning, waiting to come in, rather than people coming late at night, trying to get an appointment in. So this is something that I'm willing to work with the town clerk, Mike, and the town employees to figure something out, present to you guys for approval, if that's something you guys are willing to consider.
Did anyone explain to you why that's going to be?
They gave me a little bit of the historical knowledge in it based on issues regarding availability to the public. Yes, and that's why it's something that I want to work as a full team rather than leaving it up to one person. Perfect. And the other is, the last question is, how can HR better help you? Given that this became its own position as an HR coordinator, I wanted to see what's something that I could do better for the town employees. Altogether, for the most part, 80% of employees said that they need more help with benefits, whether this meant understanding benefits better, having more access to benefit information, or just having more options. That's something for me to work on, especially as it comes to open enrollment and the like.
So what are your thoughts with regard to work-life balance? How do we improve that?
There are multiple answers to that. Some suggestions would be see what other trends are doing. A lot of organizations that have the capabilities for it are going into a hybrid schedule. Where possible, going to work half from home, half from the town. I know this was an option back in the day when we closed office hours and employees were able just to catch up with their administrative work. That's something for me to look into, because there wasn't one defined answer on why that was the case, given that, you know, everybody had their own reason why they didn't feel like they had a work-life balance. And just my long-term plans, my goal as an HR professional is really to make the town of Swansea the employer of choice, meaning that when an employee tells a family or a friend hey, I work with the town of Swanzey, the immediate response is, how do you get that job? I want that job. That's gonna take a lot of policy management down the line. That's gonna take unifying the teams. I believe currently the departments operate in their own silos and bring them together under one town of Swansea would really just standardize the processes for everybody. Some of my projects include improving upon our hiring and onboarding process. We currently have some outdated systems when it comes to background check, and we hire an employee. It takes us a little bit to get their background checks. How do I improve upon those processes to make it faster, better for us, but also improve the employee experience? That's all that I have. Any
Any
questions?
questions or things that Sebastian hasn't mentioned, that you want to make sure he's working on, or?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty impressed, Sebastian, and I think you're pretty close to your goals. If you're looking at these skills, they're pretty impressive to me, right? I mean,
The numbers to work.
these are really, you know, you do grab room by me, not a lot, but I just. Huh? We? Yeah.
We're gonna be coming to us. With suggestions.
You know, but I just think he did a fabulous job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it gives us some good information. I just wanted to compliment him on that.
Thank you.
He's doing a great job.
Thank you.
Well, you can bump that up to 90% by doing a fractile response and taking out 10% of the highs, 10% of the lows.
Oh, one good thing
Then
you
you'd have
mentioned
90%.
on the first one, from the people that plan to stay in organizational long-term, the people that mentioned, no, the 10% we're actually planning on retiring. So it's not, thankfully, it's not that we're losing to another organization, but, so it's definitely a great number, even better.
I'd be interested in knowing what other towns do as far as town hall office hours, the registrations, paying taxes, things like that. If there's one night a week that works for extended hours.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to look into that.
Why it's on the table is a time, could I ask the question, would you, Brother Bill, what was the decision on the Monday thing? There was a reason for that? Could you quickly explain to me?
Just people that work. 70 for out of town. Couldn't make it.
Oh, so you wanted
And
one
then
late
Friday,
night?
then Friday, they open early and leave.
I got you.
Nobody complains about Friday, right?
That's so fine.
Pretty crowd when I go over to Jim said, and Slice, amazing to put this together.
Thank you,
Great work.
thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Glad to hear before they change their mind.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
You don't shitty say it. See.
All right, you want to back up to the, sorry, why don't we do, Police Chief Joe Gonzalez? Good evening.
That's all right, Joe.
So discuss flares across the course. Okay, so we've been doing directed patrols for the last 3 weeks or so. We've encountered about say 21 motor vehicle stops. Approximately 10 to 12 warnings have been issued for speeding and 1 citation for speeding. So it's not too unusual considering the road, getting other roads that are similar, so.
The new pavement.
Yeah, now it's fresh pavement.
Yeah, that kind of makes things worse. Any questions?
So do you think that's comparison to other roads than what you found out, is that what you're saying?
I would say pretty much.
It's kind of on the higher end.
Yeah,
My question is, there was 2 problems on this road, not just the speeding, it was trailers and everything going over that bridge. When did we come out with that? Did we notice that?
the occasional occurrences where we found mostly vehicles with trailers. There's been some trucks that are probably should be on that bridge. It's an ongoing issue.
Was there a black and white by Lee Dunham's house that didn't have anybody in? Did you try to park in a car there? Or did that, there's somebody- I don't know, I went by it. It's occupied.
Did that? I don't recall.
I know Marco was there quite a bit.
That's incredible idea.
Cruises on fire and still people that.
That's unbelievable, Si. I never even heard of that. That's really work, I can imagine it would work.
Well, we know.
Well, my design paint the doors or something.
So obviously we can't keep doing it, so without paying attention to all the other ones. So what other funds do you have that we could employ that would slow traffic down? I saw you had something about a grant or a sign, which I happen to find very effective.
Sure, so that was one of the recommendations that were made by a few people. Speed limit signs that have radar installed inside them, so it tells you the speed that you're traveling. Those are stationary signs. So there are no federal grants for those type of instruments. There are state grants, but they cover radar units, the handheld vehicle units. They also cover trailer radar signs. And they have very specific guidelines on the use of those signs. It's a two-tier grant system. You have to apply for the overall highway transportation, state highway transportation grant, which requires officers to work overtime outside their regular 40 hours to do traffic enforcement, which is basically reference to DUIs, distracted driving, and cell phone usage while driving, and also speed. So we have to log somewhere between 68 hours a day overtime of the officers. Seems a little low as far as average, because we do require monthly, not monthly, but quarterly reports. So I thought that on a quarterly basis, I spoke to the directors and Congress, the highway department. And say it was 60 days back for carrying the voice that you would like to see much more than 68 hours.
This is the officers have to work an additional thing. How's that going?
They will compensate you for that. So if funding is an issue, it's the officers who work that overtime and be the issue.
So that leads to the hours set per day. So it's 68 hours over the course of the year.
Allegedly.
So an hour and a half a week. How we set them are they to that?
The officers, they don't like working overtime. And it's a discussion I had with one director of this highway department, which he knows as well as most chiefs that in the office, they're not like work overtime. And we're very familiar with Cherry County, and it's that discussion with other chiefs that they had the same kind of issues.
So in terms of getting us something that would interact with the public, what are we looking at for policy?
Well, you have to get a trailer sign, similar to one that the highway department has, that also has a radar system inside that records, that makes recordings of vehicles going and coming. And this way, the state needs that data. We can either get one of those, which are more expensive, or we can get a smaller one that most police departments have. That can be easily towed from location to location, because one of the requirements is that they be moved from location to location. All this needs to be documented and submitted in the quarterly reports.
But if we funded ourselves, do we have the same requirements?
No.
So what would the cost be?
Well, they're pretty expensive. They could run anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000.
Solar power?
Yes.
What's the life expectancy?
Well, I had one at my old police department, and we had that for several years. We've been having a major issue with the battery eventually will go. That's the cost of power.
Isn't there like a speed limit sign on a post that goes up, not a big one, and it flashes the speed limit, right? And that's a solar limit stuff.
Sure.
Instead of the trailer mount, don't they have that similar to those, right?
They do.
Yeah, because I've seen them before.
And that would cost you somewhere between $3,000 or $4,000. They have all the different models.
If it's not grandfathered. Only the trailer, not the handheld grandfathered.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if we bought that and put it in the ground and sold it, and we set it up, you know, in the middle of it, you know, and we paid for it. And we just set it up, and we set the trailer, we don't have to move it, now that stationary, that saves you. Because I'm a little surprised when we're saying two, because I watched Troy, and you know that section coming from 118, that sign is always there, that stays there for 6 months at a time. It slows me down every time I hit it, you know what area I'm talking about? Joe, how do you feel about that street? Do you feel that you have some problems on that road that?
I mean, not any more than what we have in many other roads, so what I would be probably concerned about is do it for one, you're gonna have to do it for many others.
You need other people to live in streets and say, oh, you put a speed limit there, now we can run there.
Yes. So if you're going to do that, I'm good with it, I don't have any issues, problem with it.
Yes,
Bridget Sullivan. If, the top, the police car is visible, it will make people slow down, but that might interfere with the traffic issue. So,
they park right across from the cul-de-sac, which is great, we appreciated them, so, no.
yeah, lovely.
People slowed down, so it was a very visible position of the police car. Came around the corner, you saw a police car down the road, so the fact that they were pulling anybody over was a Saturday.
But yeah,
Good.
that's like sweet data or something.
Could Beverly just have your name and address for the?
Bridget Sullivan, and Nathan Sullivan, 124, Sewers Crossing. Sorry, Nathan
Bridget, so,
Sullivan, thank you.
thank you. And I would also note that they were, again, we appreciate it very much. Most of these, the kind of possible patrolling on road were midday, the other patrol during commuting hours at 7:29 a.m. where it's the worst.
Although I did see one person while I was at my office basically free and the cop was sitting there and person was like flying right by the cop. I'm like, Bobby, really too bad.
Yes, multiple officers out there or one?
We usually
Change it up.
one officer.
So one officer patrolled this whole procedure?
No, that's what we changed,
You did.
officers. We never control.
Lisa?
So I can't see around the corner up to where your house is. I can only see the bridge and to the corner, and I can hear them as they go as they have to speak. And I agree with you, 7 to 9 a.m., pretty bad, pretty bad. And I'm not sure if any of you were aware. I think you talked about the signs at the bridge and how on my side of the bridge, they've changed that to yield sign. And honestly, that's probably caused more problems because people are being nice, some people, and yielding. And the traffic is backing up behind them and they're honking their horns and swearing. There are people who pull out and try and go 2 at a time through the bridge because they don't want to yield. This past Sunday, I was watering the flowers in front of my house. I watched 2-way traffic going through because the motorcycle on the other side thought, yeah, I can fit, let's go. So there was 2-way traffic. And probably, Chief can tell you better than I can, a couple of weeks ago, there was a call because someone flashed a gun at someone else who yielded to traffic. And they didn't want to be waiting, so they flashed their gun. So, yeah, from my part of the corner down, I've never seen any speed enforcement there, it's 15. 15. All that beautiful paving we have, guess what they did with the equipment? Right through the bridge. Tell me that equipment weighs less than 6,000 pounds. I called the state DOT, they said I have to call our local police department to enforce the weight. Here we are.
If you did that,
Did I call the road? No, because I knew I was gonna make it.
this set just recently happened.
Last Friday.
They're working today too. doing the
And
edges
your
of the
cars in
road.
the picnic area. And if they're going to work on my side of the bridge, they're gonna drive all that stuff right through the bridge tomorrow morning. And I'm happy to go out and take pictures. And I am happy to set my cameras back up. And the occasional overweight truck and trailer, I'm sorry, I have a big problem with that because I can send you hundreds of pictures. And I can date stamp them and time stamp them, and I can date and time stamp on the police road is going through. They're not there. But Maple Hill Nursery goes through. With a Spectrum truck with a bucket on it that goes through every single day. There's a T-Rex or some other bucket truck that goes through every day. Guard wall landscaping every day. Dump trucks loaded with wood. It's wood delivery time. Always through that bridge. Who's the other one? We got Naya? Naya? From Base Hill Road, every day. Dump trucks through the bridge. So to say, oh, it's the occasional one. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that, and I can take pictures. And I guess the only other thing of note is, and I don't know, I'm sure I didn't see this, but I saw it on Facebook. Someone was commenting on how there's now bucket trucks going through the Carlton Road Bridge.
Yeah, I think they're pulling cable through or something, or,
Through the bridge,
no, but they're
I don't know,
stretching cable on Carlton Road, and they said the bucket truck went through with the bucket all the way out.
yeah, so they,
I read that.
but it's still over 6 months. And that
So
pavement
you're
is,
saying the Collins Bridge doesn't have this problem that we have over at this bridge?
No, they all do.
they
Okay.
all, we don't have any enforcement. And I've never, ever, well, one time, I think last year, seen a cruiser sitting on Causeway. Watching the bridge and watching the speed. That's not, it doesn't happen. It's 15 miles an hour in front of us. Nobody just speaking.
We have
You
more
know,
work to
I-
do.
Well, yeah.
I was already at the report when Joe said it, but he did bring up a good point. They see the cruiser, they're gonna slow down. Joe might not have got an accurate saw what we would have seen. It is a good argument, and I have to say, if I pulled into that road and spotted the cop first thing, I'm gonna slow down, I'm not gonna speed. So you gotta give them that, it's accurate, you know, so I'm not sure if the police got an accurate look at what they're saying. If you know what I mean?
I guess.
I'm
that-
sorry, I feel very strongly that we do have a major problem going over that bridge. And I do still feel that there is speeders on that road, and I know Joe tried, and I know he did what we asked him to do. But I just don't think Joe
He
can
wants to
solve
stay
this.
there.
Huh?
If he wants to stay there forever. Right.
I didn't hear you, I apologize.
If he wants to stay there like for good, then.
Yeah, and I understand Joe has a lot more, with somebody else, I mean, it's like that, and he did do what we asked, you know, he did a great job, but you gotta say that he might have not, they might have not got the real, you know, versus if I was sitting over there in my regular car, just sitting there, you know, sitting on my phone, what would have happened, right?
You are welcome to come sit in my driveway anytime you want.
We were aware when there was a police cruiser out there because we were like, oh, I bet you they're watching this.
Oh, no.
You know, so then I go on down the road and there's a police cruiser there. Just all of a sudden, hey, people are going 30 again.
Right.
But you saw the difference.
We saw the difference. I could see the two cruisers out there. I tell my wife and I go look out there and the cruiser was down the street or you just right across the street.
And plus people like flash their lights at each other too, so look, with people coming this way, we know from someone.
You know, we all gotta sit here and figure this problem out, but we gotta understand Joe's side too. We all can complain, but he has so many offices, he has so much money, he has so many roads. You know, so we have to figure out ways to fix this and.
What if you wrote some tickets in the way we get out? What if they wrote some tickets on speeding and going over that bridge? And the word would get out, it'd be a way of getting the word out, and
We're not gonna let that happen, we're gonna start putting stop. Maybe the word would get out and strong.
I think that would help with the locals who abuse it. There's so many people who come down the road, following their GPS. That they don't pay any attention, and I let some guy turn around in my driveway, they did that all front lawn, he almost took the wires down. But he had to turn around, and he didn't have a choice, but. I gotta say, from the stuff I see on my cameras, there's a lot of local abuse. It's not the out of towners. It's the locals.
I honestly don't think that, I think we could stop the trucks going over the bridge if we did just. Bite the bullet, spend some money, pay someone to sit there and monitor it for 2 or 3 weeks and give tickets and give fines. And that's it, put our foot down, and we do it for 3 weeks, and we stop, first, let's get the trucks and everything, stop going on the bridge. It's costing the town, we paid it how many times, 7 times a day? Right, it's hit 7 times, I think we should bite the bullet, put something there, either we hire security or something to sit in there. Watch that bridge, and I'm not saying Joe, and I'm not saying his boys, but. I really think we have to let Swanzey know, because what they just said to me is these people live around here, they go over it every day. Every day, you're saying to me, right? So we give this company a ticket, that eliminates them, they ain't coming back, they got a ticket and one, they're out, right? That, I think,
Can we get any help from the sheriff's department or anything?
I would try.
And it's a state road and the state police.
you did. Thank you, Joe, for doing what you did, I mean, we understand your situation you're in, and we appreciate you did exactly what we asked, but. I do feel, Joe, we do have a lot of big trucks over that bridge, I believe them. I mean, she's sitting there and she can take pictures and prove it to us, and I'm sure she could. I really believe you, right? I see it, I've seen it. And I think that we just need to put down our foot and just say, this is it for that bridge. And somehow, if we have to spend whatever right now, we might get it back on the repairs bill on the bridge. That we're not repairing it, I don't know.
Well, I think we need something else besides that bridge at that location. That bridge cannot handle all that traffic. I mean, there needs to be some sort of strategy going forward, long term. And it needs to be coordinated with the state. Try to get an actual bridge that can facilitate the traffic that comes and goes from Keene. That's a beautiful bridge, but it wasn't designed to handle all that traffic.
It's gonna be farmers, all right, a lot more cars.
Could we make it pedestrian only? And then have everyone do the key down first?
I don't know how that's gonna go over.
Well, up in Langdon, they moved the road, put a real bridge and left the covered bridge on the side or moved it over, so you drive on the regular road, you can see the covered bridge and ride your bicycle through the road.
But then we're gonna turn our neighborhood into an industrial.
No, it would be the same amount of traffic, but what Joe's saying is that it would be safer, right? Oh, traffic starts over, right? Yep, yes.
I mean, it's feasible for heavy trucks to go over, then you expect heavy trucks to go over, so. It is what it is.
What if we lower the arch?
If you do that. Hopefully, the video cameras will be forthcoming soon, because.
But they don't allow us to, like Lisa, the pictures are great, we can't do anything. We're not legally able to do it. So the only thing the cameras allow us to do, if I understood Michael correctly, is if some vehicle damages the bridge, we can use it for that. But if we've got dump trucks going over, we can't do anything with it. So what if we lower that, we just brought the facade down another foot or foot and a half? It would allow any passenger vehicle to go through, but it would stop anybody with a bumper. Sure. Would work.
To add to that thought, if you could block off the walkway, because there are so many, I know the track kids from the high school run through that bridge. There's no sign saying yield to pedestrians or horses or bicycles. All of those are going to that bridge at the same time as all of this traffic.
It's, I,
It's,
it wasn't you or Michael. that Talked about the side.
Yeah, so
It'll be-
To accomplish that goal.
if you lowered the top and if you added walkway. It's kind of narrow it down for only the
Isn't
passenger
there a
vehicles.
bridge in Vermont that has 8x8s that create a lane? I seem to remember going over a bridge. It's in Putney. Where it's literally a one-lane bridge, you can't, because it's 8x8, so you're not gonna bounce that without one of your undercarriage, and that might leave room on the side to accomplish.
And that would keep the bridge open to local traffic, the passenger vehicles, which is what it's supposed to be for.
Right.
And the bigger stuff would have to go around.
The other piece of it is getting DOT in to talk with them, because they've been a pushback on all the signage that they want to put up. They finally gave us at least yields, which I didn't quite get that one, but at least they allowed us to, what was the sign we could apply for? They at least opened the door.
Yeah, I
Or
think
before
the
it
field
was
signs
always-
just made it more chaotic because it's chaos from that 7 to 9. And then the evening, it's chaos. Because people are so impatient.
It's your side where you have to stop. The other side's supposed to go right through. How is the proper way?
On the side, it has to stop.
Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong, what side does she live on?
Her side is,
This side. Huh?
is the drive. Her side is the drive.
My side has.
Oh,
the
so big
wheels.
field in the red house there in the field, that, you live on that side?
No, she'd be right where the yield sign. She lives right where the yield.
So if I'm going to Keene, I can drive right across it.
That's right.
And the other side is
It's a
the
stop
same
sign.
way. So, and now this bridge where the fire station is, it's what gets there first stops, right? So why are they different? Why ain't they like that? How did that all?
We've been asking that question.
It would make more sense to have a stop on each side,
That's true.
because when people actually.
Cause that's the reason I've been yelled at, but way back in the day, and I never used to go over there, and I was. Very much, the guy on the other side, what are you doing? You're supposed to, and I didn't realize it, so
And now it's people yelling, you're not supposed to stop, you just peeled it.
I'm just surprised that they like all the other
Someone
covered bridges.
flashing a gun. Because someone yelled it, I mean, it's chaos at the bridge.
On the plus side.
Yeah.
If they don't go through that bridge, they'll come up through North Swansea. And we have enough traffic up there.
You can handle it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll be.
Works. Well, it's obviously a multifaceted challenge. Staffing. We have that problem. Certainly, with no road qualifies, South Road qualifies, 32 qualifies.
Hail Hill, after we pave that.
Oh, yeah,
That was a
they're all
speedway.
speedways. So
But it's a few grand to put on all the speedways in town, is that really that much, do you think? But it'll,
what?
a few grand to put like the small signs on all the speedways in town,
Well, no,
that,
it's a few grand, a few thousand for each, actually could be 10,000 for each, so. That's, and I think the grant, as you mentioned, requires that they be moved around. So, all I'm saying is it's a multifaceted problem, it's not as simple, and we just. Unfortunately, have the police chief to shoulder the burden, but come up with a plan. Of what we can do.
What's wrong with the idea, Joe, of you getting one of your police officers to get some tickets out on the bridge?
It's,
And we did possible, sure. Didn't they get?
We can, we can.
Yeah, it's not really.
It's not really a fine, it's out there, there's a fine, you don't go to.
It's under it's under the chief's purview to, we don't say, oh, you go persecute this crime, or
Oh,
it's separation of powers kind of, right? In terms of the actual, like, you give a ticket for this and you don't give a ticket for that.
I got it.
And the officer, I mean, maybe it's the officer's discretion, either the moment of the call.
have we ever given the ticket out in 2 years to somebody going over that bridge?
I would think so. The other legislation was to increase the fines. I don't know when that was going to be effective, but fines are increasing significantly for going over the bridge without, if you're not an adequate or appropriate vehicle. So maybe when that law changes, it's the time to do the maybe publicized enforcement push. On those, I think that was January 1. I'm not sure. $500 tickets. Get more excited than $60 ticket.
We put an easy pass on it.
Make it toll road.
Yeah, the Chesterfield had a real bad situation this past July, with a couple of fatalities and a couple of really bad injuries. And they now have a cruiser, must be an old one, with a dummy inside. Now that doesn't work for locals who will soon recognize that, but anybody coming through on Route 9 from somewhere else will slow down. They also have a sign at the bridge when you're coming in from Vermont that says Chesterfield Police enforce all traffic laws. Slow down. And I drive it all the time. I'm here, for example, I'm coming to King groceries, and the traffic is going much slower. They're also been out in force with the state police giving out speeding tickets. And a week ago, they did 31 stops and gave out 13 citations for speeding. So all that combination of what they've been doing has helped slow down the traffic considerably.
So what's the strategy behind the Jim asked about, instead of giving warnings, giving actual citations? What is the strategy? I kind of understand, but I'm not sure, but what would be the rationale for giving a warning as opposed to an actual citation?
Well, again, it's officer discretion, so the officer takes it upon himself to make a decision, is this person deserving of a citation or not? Or just a warning. So, I could direct them to be a little less lenient with the warnings and be more forceful with issuing the citations.
Would be interesting, as he said, if we took a 3 or 4 week period and really made the push, would it make a difference? And it's not just your department. I think we need to get Frank to come in from the state or whoever he designates to talk to them about a request for signage. They should be, obviously, we didn't accomplish it with the speed limits. But, yeah, but signage would be so helpful, because we need their approval for these other signs anyway. We can't just put a sign on any state road. We have to have their permission. But it seems like we make take a comprehensive approach between enforcement and working on their bridges to make them less safe for some of the larger vehicles. With the addition of citations and all, if they saw that it was a coordinated effort, maybe they would join this. Trying to make it a safer passageway, which would make your job a lot easier into the future. So what happens? You give a citation. How does the process move from there? Is it something, someone gets a citation? They go to court?
No, he's never got a speeding ticket.
Honestly, that what she's not want to say this. We know what tomorrow's gonna bring, but it really truly has been a long time. Not that they didn't deserve it.
Like, he just paid a fine.
People just pay, they don't challenge it.
What kind of fine would you get for that? You have to give a fine.
I think we get up, for speeding or the bridge?
The bridge, of the way.
Bridge is, I think, not following a sign, and then I think it was maxed at like $60 or $70. Yes. We were talking about the legislation to change it. It was like small.
Yeah, and that goes to the general fund of the state. That goes on us.
It goes to pay for the academy. There is the issue. Yeah, it goes into the black. It doesn't go to us.
So it's one, it's hard to get, so. What's the fine for going across the bridge? I worked there for 27 years and no one could ever tell me what the fine was. It's a town ordinance. Going coming across the bridge, so we don't know what the fine is. So that's why those people get warnings, because there's no fine associated with the town ordinance saying you can't do anything across the bridge. So that's why people don't,
Michael, will look into that.
warnings for that. As far as tickets go, if you give us a citation, you have a right to go to trial if you want to contest it. If you do, you first they have mediation. You go to mediation where a prosecutor from the regional prosecutor's office will go ahead and look at your record, talk to you, whether you want to, do you want to plead guilty or not guilty? If you want to still plead not guilty, then they set another court date, you go back to court. So you can't fight the ticket, it's just that on automatically going to pay the fine.
27 years, you said, how many tickets you give up for somebody going over the bridge?
No, I mean, we're going across the bridge.
Never.
Never knew it was violence, never knew it. And I stopped them all the
I
time,
personally think that's our problem.
you know, I stopped them all the time.
We've never gave citations though for going over way over the bridge. I think we should change it immediately. And I think the word would get out. I think the word would get across Swansea. Now the police are giving out citations for going overweight. And the word would spread, at least would slow down the locals that you guys are claiming that are going over there. I think we'd see immediate change.
And the fine is
Right.
not just for damaging the bridge, it's for not going right.
I don't know.
If there is a fine associated with the town ordinance, the town can still win-win.
There's no fine associated with the town ordinance.
So, is that something we can implement after a public hearing? And that money would stay with the town. So we could, first offense is $500, second offense is $1,000. Something like that. Well, $1,000 for potential, because we're not talking about it, side roads, we're talking about infrastructure and having to deal with the meetings and then also replace the decking. All right, essentially. Are there any restrictions on our ability to impose a fine?
Yes, there was a scene, I don't recall what it was, $600 or $700 for sticking it at the back. But I think it's somewhere in there.
So the
It's not,
first offense is $250, whatever, something like that. We could stagger it that way. Right.
And they can still go to court on that too. We've written fine for open container, town ordinance, and they still can fight that. So they'd be able to fight this in court as well.
They would, but there'd be a lot of public embarrassment for a local company.
Oh, no, absolutely, but I'm saying they still have that pressure. It's not an absolute, you're gonna get your money. But the judge will still end up deciding on whether even though it's capped at, like say it's capped at 500, he issue a lower fine, so.
Sure. But if we'd had that,
Oh, absolutely, but
you would have issued the
I would, if you did.
sure. As would your.
What's your opinion about it, Joe? You think we're not spending enough on the overweight trucks going over there? Do you think that could be? What do you think? In all your experience of being a police officer, do you feel when you enforce something like that with tickets, does it help, or we just shoveling sand against the pendulum?
It works for a while, it alleviates, and then it goes back.
It just seems to me, Joe, we're all sitting here tonight talking about if something does happen like Bill said, and whether we're not gonna act on this. I don't want to be a part of it. You know, I think this is serious enough to act on, and I think we should try to do something. And I think really we have to be a little aggressive. Unfortunately, we're probably gonna get slack from people, but. I gotta pick up the track, I gotta go, right?
So how can we work with you this morning? I know it's a lot of different aspects.
Fine. Also, local town ordinance would help. I think it would help in the long run and short run. So I think that's a good act for now. Altering the height of the bridge to restrict private vehicles from crossing. Don't know what the expense with that would be, but I think that's a good act to take also. Possibly narrowing the access in and out of the bridge might help also. Quite a few things that we have to address, and also what resources we can throw at it, so.
One thought that came up with the previous meeting was putting in I-beams prior to the actual entrance to the bridge. Of course, we need to get approval to do it because it's their road. But that would certainly deter someone before they actually hit the bridge.
They would issue it with the people who I saw the bridge.
But I think if we, yeah, so we can work on some of those, and we can work on some of that. What's the timing for modifying the town order?
I'd have to check, some town ordinances are different, so I don't know, I assume it requires a public hearing on 7 day or 15 day notice.
So by October, we could potentially have something in place.
And the new, state law, will that be?
Okay, cameras are September 1st. I don't think it's a number, I think the fines will be. We can put that with that.
Yeah.
Like the cameras, we said that we already have cameras, we would have to install them. And what is the big thing about September first? Soon now that we got the cameras, we can look back.
The legislation allows us to put cameras on.
We can identify the people that hits the bridge.
That hits the bridge.
But that had to come from the state legislature.
And you mentioned signage on the front of the bridge, is there any way, Chesterfield, they put signage, like, when we put fines will be, you know, like something to do with fines, so if you go over this bridge, we do stuff like that, or we people that do that. You know, new signs that say we are gonna enforce fines now all the way.
Well, the bridge is ours, but the road is theirs.
Okay.
So can you reach out to Frank and just talk with him about whether he'd be willing to come in or send someone in?
Who's Frank?
Frank Winter, it's the district engineer, the district assistant. For DOT. Would it be John then?
No, I think probably, I think he's in charge of the traffic. They're asking him to come to the board meeting.
Yeah, or have a conversation with, give a full understanding of what we're trying to do in terms of radar, portion signage, lit signs, like Jim said. Pilot signs,
Pass access before the bridge.
west. Yeah, Lisa thought, turn left here. So,
Just
just,
it could be for all the bridges, all the public bridges.
Well, some of them are, all- like this one is only local, there's no state down there, so. I think our main issue is Sweet Bridge Express and because of the amount of traffic. I think. It's city.
Is there someone we can reach out to so that tomorrow morning that paving equipment is in on the bridge?
What equipment?
The paving equipment,
It's on the bridge.
who's doing
it's
it?
been going, but it's hard right now to get those. So tomorrow morning, you assume that when you use it,
Be friendly, problem.
Aren't they all done the paving over there?
Yeah, they're doing the etching, they're putting gravel on the side of it.
Michael can reach out to all state too. Wouldn't be in time for this, but they could get in touch with her during the line. I believe it.
Think about the other, trying to think of that. They want you just to do the other side, they gotta. You know, the pain in the ass.
Yep. But it's on our bridge.
It's our bridge, you're right though.
Anything else for us?
Just a quick review of Danny. Good update. So we did lose Officer Joe Such a couple months ago. We moved Danny, David Washington. We did hire a part-time certified officer several months ago. Aware of it. She was out of law enforcement for a period of time. She worked in Massachusetts full time. She came on board, works about 20 hours for us on weekends. She's been working out very well. So she's in the MDO program right now, but it's a slow process because she is part-time. But all of her evaluations have been very good. So we've been trying to entice her to come on board full-time. So hopefully that happens sometime in the near future.
Does she have another job?
Yes. So we'll see, what's about biggest problem. Thanks to Sebastian, we got several applicants. We introduced them. And a couple look very promising. And thank you for those, initial offers. We did background checks on those two individuals. One didn't pan out. The information he gave us during the initial interview didn't really reveal some of the issues that we found with his background. So we had to make them as a candidate. Second one seems pretty strong. We're squeezing into the police academy. Started Monday. So we're very thankful for that. So hopefully it works out. He's expected to graduate in November. In this next FTO program. So maybe 2 weeks. It's several months to a year, put him on board full time.
What do you mean by the field? I'm sorry, I don't.
Field training,
Field trip. And then how long does they field trip for?
about 3 months.
3 months, and that's with another officer? That always
Yes.
with somebody.
Yes, correct.
Then they, after the 3 months, and you give them the okay, their field training's over, they can go on their own.
Correct.
So the whole process of this from school to then is what?
Well, first you have the application period.
Correct.
So you have to vet that person out, make sure he's a good applicant, select him, wait for the academy. Goes to the academy, so that's about 4 months. Then we have the FTO program, it's about 3 months.
Wow, so it's a long process there.
Yes, sir.
Close to a year.
Yes, sir. So all we can do is hope and pray that we get a certified officer, so we're gonna.
Right, to walk in and leave another town and the certified officer's all set, ready, but he can come right in, right?
Correct, but you still have to have a field training.
Oh, even with a certified officer?
Yes, we want to make sure that he's familiar with how we do things in town. We just don't want to let someone who's not familiar with town and how we do things, so they have to go through the program as well.
Do you feel we're enticing officers to come to Swansea, or do you feel that we're missing something that we're not getting officers to Swansea in any means, or is it money, is it money?
I just think it's the environment that we live in today. I can't really see too many people wanting to do police work.
It's all over the country, right? It's not Swansea.
Everyone's struggling. I mean, like the LAPD is down 30%. And we're talking thousands. So, and they get paid very well. It's just the environment we're in. Also, we had a meeting with the superintendent of schools, Nana. We had to inform him that we could not support the SRO program as we're currently ran. We took that hard because they're all there at the school department, enjoy them, an officer in the school system. And it's a very valued program. And I hate not to support it, but my priority is the town first. And managing officers and patrol officers, and the things that we have currently. So we're constituted presently, we really can't afford to get an officer, so. But I told them as soon as we can, we'll instead of officer over there, support that program.
You think in January or?
It's a possibility. Of course, if we have to call, come across a certified officer, then we have to expedite that program and get some people that sooner than that. But you're correct.
So we supplied an officer in school, now we can't. How many hours was that job?
3 hours,
40-hour week?
pretty much, so many hours.
The officer we had there, you put him out on the road then, we can't, so you say that we don't have a guy to sit there all day, I need him out in the road.
Well, he doesn't sit there all day, but yeah, he's
I
active
know.
in the school system, but we now need officers to respond to calls.
Wow.
What's our staff?
We're maintaining, we're fine as we are now, but 12, yes,
Where do we need to be?
at least 14, I would say 15.
And that's where we need to be able to support the.
So just, if we got one more officer, would be in that position.
So when you come in with your budget, are you going to be indicating that we need to get that 15?
I could, I would like to.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, if we're understaffed.
I mean, we could have named 14, but I would never say no to 15.
Could one of the other district towns maybe supply an officer for 3 months?
We could inquire, again. It takes some time to get accustomed to the routines there. So it's not something that's going to pick up in a few days, maybe a few weeks, but once they're accustomed to what the routine entails, they should be okay. Again, they do like to kind of review the person that they're submitting to be in the school system. Obviously, they want to make sure it's a good match. Obviously, it wouldn't be an officer that I'm familiar with. So we got to rely on whatever information is the department or department we have on that person. Then meet the superintendent, the principal of the school, have them meet the officer. And then make a decision whether it's good for them, good for them.
Is this the first time we're not gonna have an officer at the school?
No, we just resumed this program not too long ago. What,
We didn't have
2
one for
years?
10 or 15 years.
But this isn't something that's.
For the school district has to vote to approve. So like I said, there was a few years that the school district didn't want. Yes. That came back 3 years ago.
When I came on board, I thought it was a worthwhile venture that we should engage a program that I believe in. And it's worked out very well.
It was initially when we brought it back envisioned as a part-time position, hoping that we'd get a retired officer that was interested in taking the assignment, but that didn't end up materializing, so we opted to put one of the full-time officers there. We mentioned to the district that helped, because it was our choice to shift it, we didn't end up charging them for the difference. We mentioned that would be something that would be helpful to create another full-time benefited slot, which would help the staffing aspect as well. They seemed amenable to that, because again, they saw a lot of value in the position.
So the school supply funds for this?
Yes, all the officers working in September to June at the school.
Is there anything we could advertise like that, like she gets for a retired officer to go over there and Joe interviews or that? You know, I mean, that's a shame to have that.
Sebastian's on.
You know what I mean? That's a retired guy that may be certified. Joe could interview and maybe find how long maybe you could help Joe with that.
That's all I have.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Don't forget August 18th. Go ahead.
Basically, softball.
Oh,
We said he's
No,
playing
Well, it'd be
level.
nice if somebody there Swanzey comes down. I think we'll get some of the Swanzey. I mean, the Swanzey offices on the, other than, we don't have one Swanzey officer, right? It's a shame. I'm gonna go there and be embarrassment. I'm gonna be the selectman that runs it, and I'm gonna have nobody from Swanzey.
Well, I hope you'll encourage some of your staff to attend. Because there's an appreciation for first responders.
And it's gonna be lots, 2,000 people, we have speakers, we have a lot of things going on. You know, the state police there, the sheriffs, gonna bring the dogs, they're gonna put the helicopter down, fireworks. It's gonna be a lot of good things. It would be nice if we did see maybe Swansea, somebody from Swansea represent Swansea. Because I think we got all the towns around, Matt. I think Swansea's the only one we don't have, right? It's playing.
We could send some criminals.
Well, they asked for the selectmen, and I suggested that Bill and you might play.
Right there waiting.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joe.
Want to back it up to old business for water line extension to Valley Creek?
That is the new, I read it, it's with the, we got the bids for the, we got the price for the 8 inch, right? With the 8 inch.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Are you happy? Things are moving.
Yes, thank you.
8 inch. Best,
Good job,
Sebastian.
Have a good night.
best, I'm gonna hang this on my wall.
For the Eagles nest.
The Eagles nest.
So what do we got, 288 or something? And
That's what I read, 288,000.
he's looking for 140.
Sound great.
And we're from 262 to 288, from 4 inch to 8 inch, right, or 6 inch to 8 inch. And we did decide that 8 inch would be enough, because I know Bill has a lot of good questions about that, I think. I was a little lost, but you had good questions about the size of the pipe. They sure sounded good. didn't they?
288,000 total, yeah.
I think we need to hold off and do more discussion on it. I think we need to find out from the committee for the fire station as to whether this is a viable location or not. I think if we give 140 or whatever it is, 140,000, that takes our total investment somewhere in the 350 range. And that's a lot of money if we're to try to sell the property. With the zoning change, reducing multifamily to 8 units per acre. You could put the same amount of units that Jeremiah wants to put on 2 acres of this property. So it's lost tremendous value from that standpoint. So we really have to be hoping that we got an industry that wanted to put a manufacturing or warehouse facility on there in order to get our money back. Because the comp's not going to support roughly 100,000 per acre in general with the zoning. So I think we need to find out what the fire station committee wants to do. The risk we take is that he goes ahead and puts wells in, and then if the committee picks the site, we're on to run the one. But at least it's a known to us as opposed to an unknown. So, and I think we should have more discussion with the precinct to find out whether they're willing to contribute with us so that we go in collectively, because then it changes my thoughts completely. And then I also think it's a pretty cheap price. I shouldn't say cheap, inexpensive. It's roughly 2.25 an acre, 2.25 a foot. My understanding is it's now roughly 300 a foot to run a line. So who's doing the work? I want to know that. We're paying for it. So who's doing it?
But it's off the pavement, so.
It is, but then there's driveways and.
And I drove that today, because I knew that was on the agenda, just to see my vision, and I'm looking, when we cut that edge on the edge of the road, the telephone poles are right there, is that a fact? When you dig down for a big transfer for the water line, you got a telephone pole here, we got the road here, where does the water line go, in between the pole and the tree? I mean, I looked at the poles right where you would think the water line would go, so I'm thinking in my head, we can't just go to the roads. I said the same thing you do, I thought it was extremely cheap. And that's one of the concerns I have, who's doing this in this kind of money? Because I know what mine's costing me in my pocket, I'm going to Circle Bill, right? And I'm at, $700,000, you know what I mean? And that's even, so those are great answers, Billy, I mean, that's what I was thinking. That we would have to investigate all that. I agree with you 100%.
Commissioners for the precinct of a meeting August 15th. So we'll be discussing it then.
Is that something you can talk to them on our behalf?
Yeah.
Or is that like you were wearing too many hats at once?
Puts me in too many hats at once.
About them giving 25%, us giving 25%, him doing 50, and then we talked about 75,000, we maybe could work on. And I looked at you and you thought maybe we could finagle that, logically put it in and get our money back, right? Versus 150,000. How deep will you the land? 200? Couple 100,000.
That included the removal of consistent.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a fantastic point, this fire committee here, we don't know. You know, it's a lot of unknown, right, floating out there. And the risk is, can the fire department put wells in? Would it be enough water? We don't need a lot of water. Fire on it. It's not like they're filling the trucks,
I
right?
mean, look what they built, Lebanon, that's well and septic.
Yeah. I mean, but we always could just go, well, we would take, do that, you know?
Westmoreland has a big cistern underneath the station, I guess. They use it to fill their trucks and provide fire protection.
Yeah, it's not so much, I mean, it partly would be a fill the trucks, but it's more for the fire prevention, for the systems, sprinklers and cisterns. You have a water system in the pump, you might not need all that. It's more, I think, more of that, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Anything you want to add, sir? All right, where are we at?
The table, table.
Table. And we're moving along to tables for Whitcomb Hall.
Yes, we talked about this a while ago, and I think either Katrina was out or we wanted to get more quotes. But we'd like to buy some additional tables for.
I just think that's almost $200 a table.
They'll see.
Are they the big round ones or are they?
No, I thought it was, oh, those might be right, 18 for $14. Did they?
No, we've spent a lot of time looking at them.
Sorry?
Yeah, set of four for 742.
$200.
Yes, this table here, we're looking at.
Yeah.
Solid, you know, not fold up.
Great.
Hate to say it, that's cost of the bill, I looked it up, because I have foldable ones in my catering that I put in my trailer. And the foldable ones, Billy, that me and you have on our head, I agree with you, but these are a little longer too, these are bigger than 8s, huh? At least 8s. I don't know, Billy, I don't know. I thought Billy was right, I was like, why? But my fold up ones. What do they actually put? What do we need for this room like this?
Upstairs.
Oh, upstairs.
It's to avoid having to lug it back and forth this much.
And they are using the lift, right?
I think
I think they stand them up in the lift and send them up.
I believe so.
Oh, I see. You have something going on up there. Somebody has to carry these and go upstairs with them. Yeah, but hanging around. How many do we have down here? These are all really. Just good.
No,
Whatever's in there.
There's probably some upstairs.
Yeah, we've had more, I think we've had this. So,
Why do we need so many when you do like the planning board and stuff like that? At least set up. Because when I look at films of the planning board, it looks like they do a big. And we just did the firemen then.
Yeah.
That's what they're all up there for.
That's what
And when
it's
somebody
about.
rents this, they'll put the tables around the outside and then have the round tables and
Who said we need more, Ann? That's in
The
fact,
Whitcomb Hall team.
on the Whitman Council.
Katrina.
To me, it seems like we have a lot of tables. Look at that big hot shoe out there that we already got.
right.
We really need $1,400 worth of 8 more tables. Will they be used?
I'm the messenger.
I know, man.
Split the difference and do 4.
I agree.
is there a bulk price or is it just a?
No, I don't think so. I think it's per set of 4.
I go with that.
I'll go with that.
742, or is there shipping involved?
I believe that included shipping.
I'll make a motion that we split the difference on the tables.
745.
Go with 5 4.
I'm gonna go 750. Just in case.
Right.
750 in case of shipping.
Motion made and seconded to authorize the expenditure of up to $750 to purchase tables for Whitcomb Hall from the Whitcomb Hall revolving fund. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Excuse me.
4 tables.
4 tables. Thank you.
Request for nomination, New Hampshire Municipal Association Board of Directors.
expressed an interest in elected officials.
About hiring officials.
Someone got a prospect.
I asked him, I thought he was.
You should have queued me in.
I thought- Good night, Jim. I thought he was on the board of directors, but he was on the subcommittee.
I'm lost with what that means.
The
New
New
Hampshire
Hampshire,
Municipal Association, they put on trainings and all that, they have a policy process where they help advocate for.
Seriously.
they did your
Brilliant.
New officials.
new officials training. Right to know law, all that stuff.
No. Or remember.
I told Michael if he didn't want to do it, I could do it, but. Evidently, he wants to do it.
Who wants to do it?
Michael,
So you want to be nominated?
How's that work?
We're debating,
Do I want to be nominated?
I think you do,
But do I want to be the village clerk? And then North Swansea Water and Fire? No, we're not the first.
so you're not that person.
to what?
To
To
the
be,
board of directors of the.
to be on the board of directors of the.
Well, I'll apply.
You'll apply, because there's an opening. And how do they do that? They vote,
I guess the other people vote.
the other people
Some
vote.
sort of, yeah,
Oh,
I think I think they do elections at the annual meeting.
I'm gonna make a motion immediately that we nominate Sly to be on the board.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Wait, you gotta recuse yourself.
Oh,
Well, wait a minute, this is my turn.
no. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I don't, go ahead, it's easy. Go ahead. Just
All in favor, say aye.
staying.
Abstain, aye.
Congratulations, we'll send you the application form.
Thank you.
You saying to-
Michael,
I-
Michael, wipe the sweat off before him.
You almost had to go,
You dodged the bullet.
but I will get him on some more subcommittees.
He's gonna be in Concord every 3 days a week next year at this rate.
Good.
He likes going to Concord, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Got a food to honor, he was right there. Cruise control.
This is the hard part. Update on reevaluation of assessed, a revaluation of assessed values.
Everyone see the materials I sent out earlier this week?
I have the second nicest house on the street.
You do,
Yes.
about the back.
What?
That's.
That's what it is. Somebody else has a bigger garage.
Looking at increases of averaging 50%,
On residential,
overall is 50%.
what's the breakout? Do we know that?
I don't have, yeah, he doesn't have that, he doesn't have that, yeah. We looked at, he had it by, he had it by zone, but I don't, by zone district, but
What was our MS one before that?
around 640 million, so.
Yeah,
over-
so now
over
we're
a
1.1 billion. So if you want to buy a town.
It's getting more-
1.1
It's just
billion.
got a lot more
That's
expensive.
more than 50%, that's almost a double.
Maybe it was 700.
I think that includes all property. But I think the taxable,
Oh, yeah.
Right. so. The town property and the schools in there too, at the 1.1 billion.
So that number you're telling me is what we tax on, 600 million in the town of Swanzey.
We get 8 million,
So now you're saying it's gonna be what?
1.1 billion,
1 billion.
110. Million,
Okay.
No.
1,000.
1,100, 1,100.
So what happens now is what? Now the tax rates are even this.
You're about to get a letter with your new value.
Everybody. gets.
So instead of $30 per thousand, it will drop down, hopefully, to $15 per thousand.
And how do we come up with, how does that number happen?
Which number?
The 50%.
We gotta get the $8 million we run on,
Oh,
plus the school
oh,
and.
so you figure that out basically on our budget, right?
Let's we figure out we know what our.
Budget is, and we know what we need for money, so if we need 8 million, we gotta adjust from the billion of what the tax rate is, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's gonna freak out when they get these letters, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna, oh my god, my taxes are gonna be crazy, right?
Wind up for the next selectmen's meeting.
It's just Scott's here.
It's gonna happen.
That's it.
Yeah, well, but there's the appeal process.
Okay, so after the letters, what, how long of a period do we wait till we know what the tax, the rate is gonna be?
Well, until October or November. When people get the new value, which is significantly higher, then they look at the tax rate and they multiply it and they say, oh my God, my taxes are going up. But you shouldn't do that because the tax rate is going down
How much it is on 1,000 right now?
26 and change, I think.
$26, so if your house is worth 10,000, whatever, just so too bad, 10 times 26, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, they look awful.
it will.
But now if your house is worth 300,
Yeah, but so that doesn't make sense
77.
then, Sly, when you said the other night that we're gonna be getting another 50 million in taxable things, but really, we're not.
well,
Well, they are.
because we spent $100 million worth of building in town between all the apartments and Webb and, well, Full Flatley, that's the big one.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah,
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we're gonna have, oh, it does help the
It
bottom
does,
line.
yeah.
More value means lower.
Yeah, right.
so it'll lower people's taxes. And
And
then
I guess, right, yeah. that
if
makes
we
sense.
keep our spending level, but if we end up with $800,000 more for the town per year, I think we're gonna need more services, like more police and
Correct.
maybe, bump up some of the other recycling and things that are gonna take a hit.
What is last year's budget? What is our budget? It's 8 million?
7.9.
And does that go up every year? Our budget, obviously.
Not necessarily, within a few years it went down.
Is that right?
It's hard now.
During a different market.
Inflation is correct. But everybody else. too. But can you explain so Jim understands what the appeal process
Yeah,
is?
so everyone gets the letter that has their new value. It's gonna have dates and times on it and a phone number to call, not the town hall, not Jimmy, not the selectman. The contracted assessor, just mayor's office assessing. You call them, we have a whole week basically scheduled to work them all. We got a couple afternoons, an evening, a Saturday. And then they'll schedule appointments and all right, you got 10 o'clock to meet with the assessor. And you come in and you say, hey, this says I have 4 bedrooms, I really only have 3. Or I looked at my neighbor's property and they're the same and you have me assessed much higher. Or just to understand the process, then they make adjustments, they might go visit properties depending. And so that's later in August, and then,
Wait a minute, let me ask a question. That's the assessor that sits here. And you?
we can sit in on
Bill
it,
is fly, sit in with that too?
it's up to them.
We don't have, to, but you could.
You could, just to
But
get.
the assessor was
for you to
sitting
go
here, still walking.
This,
No.
no, because you don't have the knowledge. It's the assessor company that did the work.
And so this is if they looked at a house on the outside and they thought it was 4 bedrooms and the guy said, wait a minute, I don't have what, I get it. Okay, so that's their opportunity and it says right
That's
on
the
there.
initial opportunity before
But
you
they
even get
also,
into
they also have to let them. If they're appealing, they gotta let the assessor in.
if you're, yeah, or provide some other documentation.
Oh, really? The assessor can say, well, I'm gonna make now another appointment to go to your home and I wanna go in and see these 3 bedrooms.
Sure, because if they're appealing.
Does that happen a lot? A lot of people appeal?
They will this time. Because they'll forget the other part of the ratio.
And I didn't mean to interview, but what month does that happen?
August, later in August,
Later in
like the
August.
second to last week of August. They'll get about 3 weeks notice when they get the letters.
Okay, now you would continue on after that.
Right, so that's still all just informal, there's no, it's just friendly, you're not disputing really. Then, so then the values will get finalized. We'll submit them to the state, then they give us the new tax rate in November. Then the new tax,
But the budgets are going.
the budget's all set in March.
So when that goes to them, we send our budget, which is the amount of our budget, and then we send our valuation, then they come back and they say it's $20 on the 1,000, right? Whatever.
Right,
Okay.
then we run the new tax warrant and people get the new bills with the new value and the new tax rate. Some go down, some go up, some stay the same. Then by March 1st, they can file an abatement. And they can provide additional, so that's more formal, the informal values, they only happen during the reval, the informal year, you don't have those every year, the revaluation. Then the abatement, which is any year, everyone can do that by March first, there's a form that they fill out, it's on our website. It's a standard state form, and they fill that out, and then they file an abatement, they meet with the assessor again, hopefully they should let them in the property if there's factual data that they're disputing. And then by July of next year, either it gets approved or not. Then there's another step where they can appeal to the state, either to Superior Court or the Board of Tax and Land Appeals.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities to,
But we're also involved, you signed off on some of the appeals.
the abatements, right?
The abatement, yeah, the bears all for them. They were in the consent agenda. So you had, you probably read those. Sometimes he agreed, sometimes he didn't agree. If he didn't agree, then they came to us, right? Because we've had people come.
We've had people come to us
before going for the appeals. Yes, they love them. We didn't this year.
So the things that we get in front of us, that we sign, it's their decision, they disagree or they agree, and we basically go along with what they say.
What matters.
Yes.
Unless we've had a question, we used to run into questions more when we had vision. And we have with Marizon. When we had vision, we were all over the map, some of their values. They were an assessing team at the time.
Wow, so we got busy time, it's gonna become. What did you say the busy time of this is the budget time, right?
This and
Yeah.
this is going more, you get the phone calls.
You get the walk-ins at the restaurant, Jimmy, what the heck, why are you raising my taxes? You're not.
Don't forget to tell them, rate balances.
Well, I'm glad this is explained to you, so it's very simple, it's not brain surgery,
But the reverse happens too, look at Claremont. Claremont was, oh, they were number one, I think, for tax rate.
They're up there, yeah.
Because their values were so low. Their rate was over $40 the last time I checked. And that's just because their values are so low, but if their values.
So that's their budget, that's right. So that's how that helps the budget by more buildings, because it raises that number. Right, so when we divide our budget into there, it lowers that rate.
And we're at 100% valuation, but Claremont may or may not have been at 60 or 80% evaluation. You know, so just because they didn't reevaluate their property as timely as we did, their property values were lower, but they had to bring the rate up.
Wow, only $40 in the tax.
In sales right up there too, right? 38 or something.
And when you do a reval and values go down, people don't like that either, because then you're saying your house is worth less, they don't like it. Yeah, that was my first reval was when the.
I can't even see here in my park, those homes over there are gonna triple, probably in value.
I think you're-
If they go by.
I think yours,
I saw a lot of 80,000s over there.
One's on my 129 right now.
I know,
You guess we buy it.
That's my big argument. How come my house went up so much? But
Yeah.
Well, those are depreciating assets.
Did you already know your valuation?
somebody sent it out.
That form
Was three PDFs.
You got distracted the other day, that was the other thing, I was gonna tell you that I sent you. to
One
see
by
what's up.
location, one by,
Oh, you sent it to me, so I have it, so it's every over the place,
it was nice, one of them.
so I can look at mine?
He took all the big
And I
commercial
have it on you,
properties and put
you
them together.
email me?
Yeah, good.
So what is
So, you know, like Winchester
Mine-
was.
I think it said like,
It was nice.
Mark will help you.
And Winchester Wood went up to 3.9
What did it say?
million, and I think that's,
See, no,
they had the ad in the paper.
I didn't know that I
It was
got that.
3.9 or 5.
Buy Mark dinner tonight, he'll help you get it. He'll help you get straight.
So.
Yeah.
I'll send it again, so it's at the top.
We're still behind, but I remember when we revalved in 14. I'm pretty sure it was 14, right?
Yeah, 14, 19.
The assessed values dropped. And boy, people were not happy, but that was the market then. Right. Because the assessed value was actually higher than the market value. A lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth on that one, really was. My house is worth $250, how come the offer is only $220? Market's a little different than the assessing.
Speaking of that, you're in the new house? You sleeping there?
No, right over there. We got one right next door.
You're in the end?
Nice.
Why? What's not missing in the house? You got no water?
The water. Parcel electric.
You're out of your house and you're living in the end?
Tomorrow we'll get water.
So you want me to put some gluten-free dinners on my menu then?
Sure. Be right there.
Gluten-free Popeye, we come down for it?
So you could do. I would do.
It's on the road, you can't get this back out of control, my chairman, go ask, just go Hollister. And so I asked him the other day, because the Popeyes are sounding like crazy, and a lot of people want to get it gluten free.
Yeah.
And they love the Popeyes.
Can we do an August meeting schedule?
It's every Wednesday, it looks like to me, right?
No,
We don't miss one.
missing next Wednesday. Here the following Wednesday, missing the next one.
Oh, yeah.
It's still summer schedule.
These are all subject to whether or not we need to come back for them.
Emergencies may supersede.
So,
So look good.
so we don't meet now till what, the
14.
14th? We're on the 28th.
Any other public input?
Wanted to make note, included it in the packet, but given I know you saw it and sent it over, but the West Swanzey Water Company was one of the highest scored state loan fund
Projects.
applications. So they
What changed?
got Ben Dryer and Underwood Engineers doing good work over there, so they've approved loan up to 6.4 million, which we could have gotten a loan, but I think
2% or something?
I thought it was, oh, the rate.
Yeah.
I don't know what, yeah, I think the rate is around 2%, but looking at over 20% of
Forgiveness.
principal forgiveness, so the grant basically. And we have the 2 million of congressionally directed spending from Senator Shaheen, so hopefully we're putting together a funding picture we had talked about this spring, so making good progress on. I had one, but it's not. Really,
2 weeks.
yeah,
When do we now discuss like some of the issues that we can get tonight, and there's some evening stuff we're gonna look into that.
Yeah, I think-
And do we bring it up? Do we bring it up in the next meeting?
Maybe have Mike report something in 2 weeks. As far as
They
the
haven't
truck
answered.
traffic up to the other places and why he can or cannot park his truck and backhoe or something on his property,
sure, so it might come to next meeting,
or just report back what, what the issue is.
can do that.
I think we should have news, we can ask questions too, about it. But we don't want it, we think of.
No, that's
we
fine.
good enough, 'cause she wouldn't hear for him, please, were you?
Wasn't fine.
Yeah. Well, some of those arguments are that he's not the one that's going up and down there and speeding and stuff. Too.
Feel comfortable talking about it after you left, since he was here earlier, so.
Sure.
So I might come in next week, is that the one yes, one maybe?
Yeah, 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, the next meeting. Yeah, he was initially planning to come in, but I felt like I said, I felt uncomfortable with Jeff leaving and then having him come in. So,
Right.
First item.
very good. Thank you.
And have you set the public hearing yet for the
I will now that you. said
Southwest
that.
Community Services? Questions on Facebook about Denman Thompson Highway Bridge?
Yeah, I need to check the Joe on that.
Hopefully not too far into September.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
Are they gonna be able
So
to?
it's like August.
That was their contingency plan, yes.
Throw it on the plate.
Yeah.
Wilson Pond Dam looks good, lots of iron going in and. Right, I hope you have a lot you wanna put in before the
Before
cement.
they seal it up.
Not this one.
So I understood too, I got a couple of calls on a fire department ain't answering some of these calls. What was the call the other day that they didn't get to? Car accident, Swanzey Lake Road.
In the morning?
Exactly, a car accident on Route 10 on Sunday, car hit a guardrail. And no one from Swansea went, ended up sending a team down. Then they had another ATV accident on Swansea Lake.
That's what it was.
Where Swansea did go to that and the team also responded to it.
But I heard the one over here only Eric said that, right?
I heard one on the radio.
No.
Believe they were all in Spofford, dive training or something. I know I saw it at my mind, but we didn't want to put it. Not all of them there.
Yeah, cause you know, he does get a little upset, I guess, answering our calls, no?
Well, I think we still go up there more than they come down here.
Is that right? Good. That's true, huh? It's like
Trying to think
over
of-
Pat T-Bird and stuff. Over
Yeah.
down there.
We were up, when were we up there for the, oh, the Tanglewood, all the trees down and everything, we're up there quite a while for that. There've been some other fires and things, so.
No, I just was curious, and I'm not saying anything bad about it, I'm just saying that was brought to my attention that, you know, just let you guys know that, that's all.
But there was a dryer fire at the laundromat at T-Bird this evening, just before our meeting.
So.
Chief came down for that. Organized one, so. Want to say anything? I'm gonna propose,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
all in favor, say aye. Aye, thank you. Thanks, Mark.
So tell me what the ends were.